In this video, we'll be going over should you invest your stimulus check from the government because of the coronavirus into the stock market. Let's take a look. Now, my initial answer is going to be it depends, because every single person that is watching this video is in a different financial spot. They may have a little bit of debt, they may have a lot of debt, so everyone is in a different spot and the answer is not going to be the same for everyone. So I have 3 quick requirements that you must check off in a box before you invest this money. Requirement number 1. You have no high interest short-term debt. This includes credit cards, land loans, maybe even some car payments. It really just depends. My requirement is going to be 5 years or less, or have the 10 to 15% plus APR or interest rate. And I'm taking a play from Dave Ramsey's book because he's a genius when he talks about this. So if you do have a 20% credit card debt, I would say go ahead and spend this $1,200 or X amount of dollars and pay down that debt. Requirement number 2. You must have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Now this includes groceries, rent, any sort of health insurance, car insurance, any sort of payments that you make on a monthly basis that keep you alive and keep you sane. They are where you live, it's what you drive, it's gas, any sort of living expenses. You must have 3 to 6 months. Now I always err on the side of caution in saying go ahead and do 6 months. As we see right now with the coronavirus, you're going to need that 6 months. You're probably going to want that cushion in case something does happen. But just make sure you budget enough of what you're spending now, add an extra 10% on what your living expenses are now, just for some wiggle room. Requirement number 3, you've come to terms that you would not need this money. And what I mean by that is, if you invest this money, you better act like it's not there. Now, if you think you'll need the money within the next 5 years, go ahead, you're not going to pass requirement number 3. If you have a kid on the way, if you have something that is a big life event that you think will take place in the next 5 years, I think you should go ahead and put that in a savings account, maybe even a CD. You don't want to touch this money for years and years and years to come. Now, obviously, if something happens and you have to pull money out, that's part of it. But you really, really, really want to leave the money in the stock market. Now, if you pass requirement number 1 and 2, meaning you have an emergency fund for 3 to 6 months of living expenses plus 10%, and you understand the risk, as well as you have no high interest short-term debt, then now you may proceed to invest this money. How you invest that money, where you invest that money, and in what financial instruments will you invest that money, that's up to you. I would say if you are ready to invest and you've passed all 3 requirements, that you would take your $1,200, invest it either in your 401k, your 403b, whichever company sponsored plan you have, or open up a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA. Well, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you think about in the comments. Drop some video ideas. What do you want to know about finance? What do you want to know about stocks? Let me know. I will help you guys out.